This is Eric Alquizar Fernandez. This research proposal submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirements of DEVC 204. My research is going to be titled The Awareness of Dungguan Agricultural Farmers About Organic Farming. This study is to examine closely the level of awareness of agricultural farmers in Dungguan, Tawal, Maguindanao as regards organic farming, the ways in which they both fertilize and control pests in their farms will be looked into. Moreover, after their knowledge of the possibility of organic farming in agriculture, their responses will be uncovered. Definitely included amongst over 15 million Filipinos who still have no access to electricity are the Dungguan settlers. Most of their source of income has been agricultural farming. However, in as much as civilization is concerned, they may be not that outdated. Most of them, especially the young ones, manage to maintain a social networking like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But do they really fare well in terms of their source of livelihood, agricultural farming? Have they gotten rid of the Green Revolution, which brought problems to the world because of the use of inorganic or chemical fertilizers and pesticides? By the way, the Green Revolution refers to a series of research and development and technology transfer initiatives occurring between 1940s and the late 1960s that increased the agricultural production worldwide, particularly in the developing world, beginning most markedly in the late 1960s. Imagine that. Since then, agricultural farmers, especially in Dungguan, have resorted to that ways and will uncover if they still are. Have they also resorted to finding alternative sources for fertilizers and pesticides after prices of chemically produced fertilizers and pesticides have skyrocketed? How familiar are they of organic farming, which is the main concern of Organic Agricultural Act of 2010, or RA 10068? Objectives of the study. The purpose of this study is to find out the level of awareness of the Dungguan agricultural farmers on organic farming. Specifically, it aims to determine if Dungguan farmers know about organic farming, examine closely how Dungguan farmers fertilize their farms, and control pests with the existing farming methods they have, and identify their views about organic farming. This study will definitely be an essential contribution to promoting organic farming in the Philippines, especially in Mindanao, where a significant portion of agricultural production comes from. Knowledge about organic farming must be properly disseminated though. Barangay officials of Dungguan will also benefit from this study. The results of this study will be used as a springboard to whatever actions that necessitate the upliftment of their agricultural farmers. This can also be presented to the local government of Tawal in the province of Maguindanao for support in the channeling, especially if agricultural farmers trainings or seminars call for it. Finally, the Dungguan agricultural farmers will also get the most benefit from the knowledge they acquire about how timely their practices are in agricultural farming. This will serve as their wake-up call to doing what they should have been doing over the past decades. Now let's go to the theoretical framework of this study. The infusion of innovation theory can be utilized to image the connection between the farmers' motives and the perceptions and their eventual adoption of organic farming methods. The infusion is the process by which an innovation is communicated through channels over time among the members of a social system. Rogers, 1983, page 10. Stoneman, 2002, also defines diffusion as the process by which new technologies are spread across their potential markets over time. Page 3. Both definitions give an idea that the process of diffusion is an accumulative product of individuals' decision-making about the adoption of any innovation. On the one hand, adoption is the acceptance or the utilization of any given innovation by an individual or a firm, and on the other hand, diffusion is the pervasiveness of adoption of the innovation by a lot of individuals or the firms. Feather and O'Malley, 1983. Diffusion is a macro-level concept which is centered on the factors that affect the spread of innovations across particular populations through time, while adoption is a micro-level concept that considers factors that affect an individual's decision to adopt or use any given innovation at a particular point in time. Sunding and Silverman, 2001. Hence, to examine and compare individual farmers' possible adoption of organic production methods, the diffusion of innovations theory must be narrowed down to the level of the individual, which is the level of adoption.
Got it.
Looking at this theory, several obvious variables are at play, including farming experience and age of farmers. However, other variables may also play a role in or influence what we are going to observe. It is possible that farmers with long farming experience may think they have better farming skills, making them to be more skeptical to new innovations, or innovations rather. They may think they have already learned better farming methods through time that may lead to their sticking to their old ways. They may feel awkward in accepting organic ways as they have been used to older ways. All of these potential explanations or variables need to be addressed for the results of this research to be valid. Let's start with the variables that are somehow related to the theory. First, the farming experience is what we are saying has the effect on their awareness of organic farming. We could say that farming history is therefore the cause, and the levels of their awareness are the effect. In this example, our independent variable, the variable we start with, or the input variable, is farming experience. Our dependent variable, or the variable we end up with, or the outcome variable, is the awareness about organic farming. We could add additional variable to our list to create more complex research. If we also looked at the effect of their educational attainment and the trainings or workshop they have attended, if there is any, their knowledge of farming would become a second independent variable. If we wanted to measure the length of time they spent schooling or attending seminars related to farming, this would become a second dependent variable. The concept of adoption from the diffusion of innovations theory aids in delineating the problem of organic conversion among Dungguan agricultural farmers. An innovation, although considered a renaissance, like organic farming, is an idea, practice, or object that is perceived as new to potential adopters. The attributes of an innovation is relative advantage, compatibility, complexity, trialability, and observability greatly affect this adoption or its adoption. Agricultural organic farmers of various product sectors may perceive the nature of organic farming in different ways, which may in turn reflect distinction in organic farming's motives vis-a-vis their respective product sector. Through the framework afforded by the adoption theory, farmers' perceptions of organic farming and their motives in conversion can be compared. In a period of a month or two, hopefully we will be able to look into the variables that may affect the results of our study. This brings us to our conceptual framework, and we are going to use Innovation Decision Process by Rogers, 1995. Given in this framework are prior conditions, such as previous practice, felt needs or problems, innovativeness, norms of the social systems. In injecting knowledge, characteristics of the decision-making unit are going to be considered, such as social economic characteristics, personality variables, and communication behavior. And next to our communication channel is persuasion. Perceived characteristics of the innovation, which are relative advantage, compatibility, complexity, trialability, and observability, affects the decision making. And in decision, this leads us to two options, which are adoption or rejection. And in adopting, it could lead to continued adoption or discontinuance. Or if rejection, it could also lead to later adoption or later rejection. Next to decision is implementation, and then confirmation. Now let's talk about the methodology. In regards to the research design, this qualitative research wants to determine the level of awareness of the Dungguan agricultural farmers in regards organic farming, what farming methods they're using, and their perspectives in organic farming. There will be 714 respondents from among the 1,000 agricultural farmers of Dungguan to answer the questionnaire, which is to be translated to Maguindanaon dialect should the need arise. They will be given the questionnaire and will be given at least one day to accomplish it. About 30 questions will be asked, which are related to agricultural and organic farming. The 30 questions exclude the demographic profiling, of course. The questionnaire sheets are going to be personally handed to the respondents. Lastly, the data is going to be analyzed by viewing summaries of its survey question. After viewing the overall question summaries, rules to answer more specific questions about the collected data will be created. For example, compare rules will be employed to cross-tabulate the data to compare the answer choices to one question across the rest of the survey. Now let's talk about the respondents of the study. The respondents are going to be the agricultural farmers of Dungguan, Datumantawan, Maguindanao. All the respondents are male. They are all inhabitants from Dungguan, coming from different parts as Barrio, Dalum or Pawas, Toril, Butig, Central, and Lakig. Actually, I have visited the place, and the National Irrigation Administration is underway to starting their irrigation project, and I guess hopefully this will help the Dungguan agricultural farmers. Sampling techniques. Using the formula given by Creative Research System with a confidence level of 95%, confidence interval of 1.96, and an estimated total number of Dungguan agricultural farmers of 1,000, the study arrives at a sample size of 714. The following formula to get the sample size was used, shown on the screen, where Z is equal to Z value. Example, the 1.96 for 95% confidence level, P for percentage speaking a choice expressed as decimal, 0.5 used for sample size needed, C for confidence interval expressed as decimal. Research instrument. The survey is going to be based on appropriate questions carefully formulated by the researcher. It is going to consist of about 30 questions, which are all in relation to agricultural and organic farming. The main instrument to be used is survey questionnaire, comprising of two parts, including the demographic profiling in the first part, excluded in the 30 questions.
Second part will hopefully answer if Dungguan farmers know about organic farming, how Dungguan farmers fertilize their farms and deal with pests with the existing farming methods they have, and what their views about organic farming. And for the data gathering procedure, after the three experts' approval, validated questionnaire sheets are going to be distributed to the agricultural farmers of Dungguan, mentioned in the research locale of this study, through the help of Morsi Llamas, a student of the University of Southern Mindanao and a resident of Dungguan, Jade Hakosalem, a newly graduate of Pikit National High School, and Fatina Gulak Mamalimping, a local government worker of the municipality of Pagalungan in the province of Maguindanao. Morsi Llamas and his team are also asked to possibly read through the questions to the respondents if the need arises. Especially, some of the respondents are illiterate. The researcher assures the confidentiality of the answered survey sheets, since identities of the respondents are not necessary to be revealed. The researcher also is going to give respondents the option to remain anonymous given the fact that their conscience may affect their honesty and effectiveness in answering each item in the survey. They are given reasonable time to answer the survey. It is going to be made understood that there are completely no monetary incentives offered for their participation. Questions are going to be planned and prepared for personal interview with some of the respondents if deemed necessary.